Dr. Jonathan Baktari.
You can see it. I mean, it's crystal clear.
I think it's going to really revolutionize things.
Which is a big game changer.
Hi, this is Dr. Jonathan Baktari, and welcome to another episode of Baktari MD. Today, what I want to talk about is what's going on with the COVID pandemic, specifically the Delta variant and also vaccine hesitancy and how that's played into it. I think what we're seeing right now is obviously a new variant that's much more contagious and potentially can make you even sicker if you haven't been vaccinated. The real issue is, why are people still not getting vaccinated in the numbers that we'd like to see? You know, in the United States, almost half the population's been vaccinated, but we still have holdouts. And the most common reasons I hear for holding out is really that I hear often that the vaccine hasn't been studied enough and there's concern over side effects, which we totally get. But what I want to talk to you about today is really, when people say vaccines haven't been studied enough, they basically mean that they feel that prior to it coming out, there wasn't a large trial with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, maybe millions of people, where it was tried out and whether it worked or not. And so what I want to do today is kind of reverse that logic, because on some level, people who say that are correct, because the vaccine was only tried out on, let's say, 30, 40,000 people, especially the mRNA vaccines approved in the United States. And so I think the blowback was that's really not a large trial. And in fact, not only was it not a large trial, but they didn't actually get FDA approval. They got FDA emergency use authorization, which I get. But let's let the facts play out a little bit more, because now if you look at it, if over 300 million doses have been given out and 150 million people have been vaccinated or more since the vaccine got emergency use authorization, that pool alone would constitute the largest vaccine trial in the history of mankind. So the argument that the vaccine wasn't studied well enough prior to coming out, whether that's true or not, we can maybe argue that. But since then, we've done the world's largest trial of any drug, any vaccine ever known. We've handed out in the US 300 million plus doses. So I guess the point that I would make to people who are still hesitant in getting the vaccine, maybe the argument was prior to the vaccine coming out that we have not done the appropriate studies or enough studies to make everyone comfortable. But now we have, in a funny sort of way. So that argument no longer holds water. We now have the largest vaccine trial of any vaccine prior to coming to market. In this case, of course, we did it after it came to market, but we still did it. And we have a really good idea of the side effect profile, especially of the mRNA vaccines that are currently out. So having said that, the side effect profiles seems pretty good when you compare it to most other vaccines. There is a lot of side effects within the first 24 hours, especially after the second dose with the mRNA vaccines. But by and large, the benefits and the lives saved definitely outweigh any minimal side effects. So if you're looking for a vaccine or a drug without any side effects before you'll take it, you shouldn't probably take an aspirin. You shouldn't probably take a Tylenol. You shouldn't have routine general surgery with anesthesia, because all of those have some very, very small rate of side effects. So we can't be applying the standard that until a vaccine comes out with no potential side effects, we're never going to take it, because otherwise you'd never have any medical procedure done. You'd never have a knee surgery. You would never have anything done. On balance, the way we want to look at it is, does the benefit outweigh any small risk? And when you look at it through those lenses, it's a no-brainer to take this vaccine. And the other way to kind of really look at it is, we know what happened to the United States when we didn't have a vaccine. 600,000 people died. We think over 100 million people got infected. And out of those 600,000 people died. And so the real question is, we now know we've had close to 150 million people get the vaccine, and just, a handful of people who got the vaccine have died. And most of those people were above 82, or median age about 82, and they had other medical issues. So practically speaking, the people who got the mRNA vaccines, essentially there was minimal to no deaths. With the people who were unvaccinated, the first 100 million Americans that got it, we know there were 600,000 deaths. Just knowing those two statistics should help you decide which team you want to be on. So I think these are the issues you got to look at globally to get over vaccine hesitancy. Again, let me just reiterate, if your argument is the large enough trials were not done before, it wasn't studied well enough, we'll even give you that, but now that argument goes away, because essentially we've done the largest trial imaginable. If your other argument is, well, I don't want to take it because of any possible side effect, then you should probably never take any medicine over the counter, or never take an antibiotic, never have surgery of any kind, because those all have this same sort of infinitesimal risk. So those are the two main things that I hear about for why you shouldn't take the vaccine. And if you really process it like the way we just talked about, both those logics really go away. So I really want to encourage you to get the vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine. And the other reason you should probably get it is because this Delta variant is much more contagious. If you really feel like you can get away without getting the vaccine and without getting COVID, I have to tell you, the odds are not on your side. If you really look at it like, I'm either going to get the vaccine or I'm going to get COVID statistically at some point, if you really view it like that, then your choices are binary. Most people think they have three options: never getting the vaccine and never getting COVID, or getting COVID and getting the vaccine. If you think you have three possible roads, okay, but in practicality, you don't. You probably only have two options. You're either going to get the vaccine, or you're probably at some point going to get the COVID-19 virus. And if you really view it like that you only have a binary choice, get the vaccine or get the virus, if you really start to look at it that way, and then you put aside the two issues you had before, which was, I'm worried about the side effect profile, and I'm also worried that it wasn't studied enough. Once those have been addressed, really the only logical choice, unless you really are okay with getting the virus potentially, is to get the vaccine. So I really urge you and your family, if you still haven't gotten it, the side effect profile of the mRNA vaccine certainly are equivalent to almost any other vaccine we give you, and the benefit clearly, based on the statistics I shared with you, clearly tip the scale towards getting the vaccine. So I hope this helps you. Please share this video with friends of yours who are still thinking about not getting a vaccine. Also, please leave comments below. What was your experience like with the vaccine? Share that with other people so they know it's okay. And also add some comments about what you want me to talk about next, especially about the pandemic, the COVID-19 vaccine, or other inside stuff on healthcare. And I'll try to address as many of them as I can. Thank you so much for watching. All right, be well, take care, bye-bye.